Hello Pisces, Happy New Year. This is your 2015 forecast. So this year we've got all 3 Mercury retrogrades in air signs, so we're going to be reflecting on lots of things but also coming up with lots of new ideas. And because you are such a creative sign, and because we've got Neptune in your sign for a good many years to come, this is really a time where we need to start coming up with ideas where we're helping each other. Helping one another, feeding one another. As we feed off one another, as we collaborate with one another, this is the feeling of this year. This year is a year of working together, working with one another. The more we can do that, the more we'll find meaning in our own lives, and together we'll build this higher consciousness, which is certainly what Pisces is looking for. This Neptune in Pisces is all about developing our compassion for ourselves, not berating ourselves and really telling ourselves that we've done something wrong all the time, being so harsh on yourself, but also then learning compassion for one another. Well, that was my little intro, but Pisces, you seem to draw that from me. I'm going to break down this year for you. At the end of the video, you'll have a list of all the important dates that I shall be referring to. So let's start out with these Mercury retrogrades. The first retrograde, happening between January 22nd and February the 11th, is happening here in your 12th house. You're no stranger to the 12th house, my lovely Pisces, so good time for reflection, for relaxing, for researching, for doing anything in the background, but particularly working a little bit on your spiritual self. Maybe analysing some of your dreams, some of the information that comes through, and a brilliant time for journaling and writing. You may get some real inspirational answers to problems that you've been looking to solve for a long time. Between February 20th and March 17th, we've got Venus and Mars coming together. Now, Venus and Mars usually come together maybe for 4 to 6 weeks of a year, but this year they're coming together a lot of times, on and off all year. So that's exciting, because Venus and Mars, of course, is romance, is love, is passion, but it's also bringing harmony. Because Mars on its own can be a little aggressive, Venus on its own can be a little bit of a wimp, but put them together, we get the best of both worlds, at least hopefully. So here they're coming together on those dates in your 2nd house, joining Uranus in the 2nd house of money. So this could bring a surprise financially, something nice, a little gift or a bonus. But it also means that you need to be proactive with your finances. Careful about spending a lot, because you might be tempted to spend a lot all of a sudden with Uranus there. But it can also bring a little windfall. It can bring a little extra into you during this time if you just stay open to it. But sometimes it's not necessarily financial. I have to say, it could be somebody just appreciating you, appreciating what you're doing. I mean, this is one of the things that it can come through. So not always finances. Often people think of 2nd house as only finance. No, it can be appreciation from others. It can be appreciation for your talents. Often that does translate into money, but not always. Then we've got a glorious aspect between February 24th and March the 9th. We've got a lovely trine aspect happening between Jupiter in your 6th house and Uranus in your 2nd house. This trine doesn't happen very often. It's happening in fire signs. So this is wonderful, possible, wonderful news about a career move, a work move. This could be suddenly something, a new idea that you come up with at work that's really taken on board, and they love it and they say, hey, yes, run with it. It's also potential for a new money-making solution that you come up with. Maybe you've been in a tight situation for a while, and this just brings the right idea at the right time for you. Then we've got this final square happening. I've been talking about this square between Pluto and Uranus for years now. Final square between Uranus here and Pluto happening between March the 12th and the 28th. And so what it's asking you is, have you got clear enough boundaries in your relationships? Are you giving way to authority figures? Are you sticking up for yourself enough? Pisces, sometimes, you know, you prefer no conflict, no aggravation, and you prefer to just skirt round things. No, are you being strong? Are you really sticking up for your boundaries and the things that are important to you? Not necessarily rebelling against things, but just standing firm. Then from March 31st till April 11th, we've got Venus and Mars moving along again together, and they are in your third house here. This third house of meeting new people, networking, connecting with possible new opportunities. It's a good time for negotiating a deal, good time for selling something, a product or a service, and a good time for generally just communicating with people in your environment, your community. You may be able to really smooth out some ruffled feathers. If anything's been, maybe there's been a conflict or a disagreement, you could well be the mediator bringing the peace. From May the 18th to June the 11th, we've got Mercury moving on, this Mercury retrograding now into your fourth house of home, family. So this retrograde will be an opportunity for you to think about your living situation. Maybe you'd like to move, maybe you need to renovate, maybe you just need to paint, maybe you need to move the furniture. But here, this is an opportunity to reflect maybe on some communications with a family member or a friend who feels like family, but certainly reevaluating your security, your stability or instability may be the case, but just reevaluating what your next steps may be. Then we've got this lovely trine happening again between June the 15th to the 28th. Where's my trine here? Between Uranus and Jupiter. Another boost in the work area and the finances area. Get excited. It's excitement happening, new ideas. We're going to see new breakthroughs medically. Maybe there'll be something medically that you find out about health, about diet, something that's really life-changing for you, that can boost your energy in a brand new way. So this could be very powerful for you and affect your physical well-being. Then, so for most of this year, we've got Saturn up here in your 10th house. I'll come to that in a minute, but between June the 15th and September the 18th, Saturn goes retrograde. Not for very long, just for those 3 months. And it wants to know, how do you feel about the meaning in your life? Do you feel as though your life has meaning? Could be not necessarily religious, but maybe a spiritual path, maybe your work that has meaning. Yes, what are you doing that really you feel can make a difference? And it's also asked you to look at, what do I need to study, what do I need to learn to take my career or my work or whatever I do onto another level. It's just checking in with you. Then it's going to come into this 10th house. So it's in the 10th house for the first 6 months of the year. Then after September 18th, it's there until December of 2017. So this, for many of you, if you've been working assiduously on your career for a lot of years, this can be a time of harvest, of fruition, of being acknowledged, of being promoted, of being seen, appreciated. This can be a very good time for you. For those of you who feel as though you've got off track with your career or maybe made choices that you really now would like to change, this is a fantastic opportunity for restructuring your career, for taking some new steps into a direction that will be more fulfilling for you and more uplifting in the longer run. So that's generally how that Saturn could play out for many of you. Then we've got another Mercury retrograde from Venus retrograde. Venus goes retrograde from July the 25th until September the 6th. And it goes retrograde initially here in your house of relationship, just for that last week in July. And Venus rules relationships and money. When it goes retrograde, which it does every couple of years, this slows down everything in those areas of your life and gives you an opportunity to really think and ponder and reflect on those areas. And so for you, it's going to be reflecting on your relationships. Do you need to change your relationship considerably? Is someone taking advantage of you? Are you compromising too much? Has a relationship ended and you know it's past its sell-by date and you're still carrying on? Then after that, this retrograde Venus coming into your 6th house until this retrograde until September 6th. So this is asking you to reevaluate your relationships in the workplace, to reevaluate your finances, of course, as well during this aspect, but particularly to look at Venus rules your pleasure. How happy are you at work? How happy are you with the work you're doing? So this is a time to reevaluate those relationships and, if necessary, after September the 6th, to make some changes. August the 8th to September 24th, we've got Mars joining this whole, whoopsie-daisy, party here. And so Mars here joining everybody, energizing this house of work, also energizing you as far as exercise is concerned, and really moving yourself forward as well, with also helping others, finding a way that you can contribute and help others. You might find yourself volunteering during that transit. So for much of the year, we've got for the first 7 months of the year until August the 11th, we've got Jupiter in the 6th house of work, wanting you to expand, to grow your work area. And then from August the 11th until September 10th of 2016, we've got Jupiter, planet of good fortune, coming into your house of relationships, Pisces. So for some of you, you may get married during this time or have a proposal of marriage. Some of you will have just new possibilities with new partners, new relationships, expanding an existing relationship onto a whole new level. This Jupiter could be very beneficial for you in that 7th house of relationship. Jupiter brings growth. Opportunity to grow, to learn, to take your relationships onto a higher level. And then from September 17th until October the 9th, we've got Mercury going retrograde again, last retrograde, in your 8th house here in Libra. So time to reflect on finances, on money, how you're spending money, what you're doing with your money. Important here to reflect if you're in any kind of joint relationship with money, whether you want to continue with that, or maybe once Mercury goes direct, whether some changes need to happen in this area. It's also a good time to reflect on your spiritual journey and maybe also on your sexuality and intimacy, becoming more intimate with people, allowing people to get closer to you. From October the 8th to November the 8th, Venus and Mars, hey, lovely, coming into your 7th house of relationship. Wonderful for romance, wonderful for getting together with somebody, wonderful for reigniting an existing romance, and really just great for bringing peace and harmony. Wherever there's been discord, you'll have an opportunity to bring more peace and harmony into your relationships. And finally, last but not least, between November 12th and December 4th, we've got Venus and Mars tripping along into your 8th house. Mercury is now gone, and bringing you some financial opportunities. Maybe a gift from somebody, a present from somebody. It's also just a great time to go into anything metaphysical. The astrology, the numerology, the past lives, psychoanalysis, anything about going deeper and getting closer is under wonderful aspects towards the end of the year. So we've got all this mutable energy, what with Neptune in Pisces, Saturn in Sag, and the latter part of this year, the Jupiter in Virgo. We're going away now from the cardinal energy, still there a little with the Uranus and the Pluto, but all these other planets pulling into the mutable energy. Now luckily, Pisces, you're a mutable sign. so you are able to flow with things when necessary. Because we are going to see people changing their minds, chopping and changing, and it's all the time, I feel, of fine-tuning things so that you get them to the vibration that you want them to be at. It's a bit like tuning a radio, you know, when it's a little bit crackly. So things are crackly, if anywhere that's crackly, you'll have an opportunity to fine-tune things. But you will have to go with those flow of the changes and know intuitively that those changes are for your higher good. So I'd love to look at your personal chart and tell you how to make best use of the aspects for this coming year. And I thank so many of you for sharing, commenting, and sending me all the lovely emails that you send me. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful 2015. Bye for now.